All right, see if that's any better there. I don't know why. Seems like the mic, the pre-made mic thing wasn't working. So let me just check the volume on this one. All right, let's see how that is now. We should be in pretty good shape here. Yep. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, what I was saying is been cool. So it was a pretty busy week and got some stuff here. Let's see, my screen's a little tilted too. There we go. Got Joe's Camaro done, and he picked that up today, so that was good. And that one should have done that. So that worked out real well, and went over to Arcadia and put the turbo back on Leo's 4200. So a little 4200 update for you guys that are following that project. So I finally got the turbo housing all done. I think I showed pictures a couple weeks ago on that. So we went over, and last time we ran the car, Leo said that number 2 cylinder was down about 10 pounds of compression, which I didn't think was a big deal. I mean, it is a big deal, but not life or death. And so I went ahead and ran the valve train, and the valves seemed to be fine. Had a couple that were a little on the loose side, not bad though, and found that the number 2 cylinder 2 intake or exhaust valve, was stuck. Now, for the guys that have been following that project, that was the same thing that happened when we took the motor apart originally. It was stuck, and we thought, and the seat was all rusted and everything. We weren't sure what was going on there, and had the cylinder had gone through, and they couldn't find any issues with the valve guides or any of that stuff. And so we thought we had it straightened out, and lo and behold, it's doing it again. And so, doing a bit of research while I was there, we figured out that cylinder has a casting for the oil passage under it, and the valve springs we think were changed out for a larger OD spring, and the spring is actually rubbing on the casting, and that's what's holding the valve open. So I had to order some tools so I can take the springs off in the engine while the engine's in the car, and I'll probably go over in 2 weeks, and then we'll have to clearance that piece of casting so that the valve spring's not hanging up on it, and then we'll be ready to go over and dyno. We're gonna go to Blow by Racing. They just moved to Fort Myers, and they've got a new mainline hub dyno, so we'll go over there and dyno it, make sure we're all good before we go back to the track. So we're getting really close with that. Did a chassis cert over at Blow by Racing on Sunday. Luckily, their guys were in the shop. We were originally going to work on Leo's on Saturday, or on Sunday, excuse me, and then Monday go to Blow by, dyno the 4200, and then do a chassis setup on Jason Davis's Mustang and do a chassis cert on it. However, we got done quick on Leo's since the valve was stuck open. We weren't going to run the engine like that. And one of the guys was working, trying to get caught up on some extra work, a little overtime, and he was in the shop, so I went over and knocked that all out on Sunday. So that worked out real well. But yeah, what I was starting to talk about was, I don't know if you guys caught the video for the rear end fixture I built. It bolts down on a transmission jack and makes it easy. I'm a one-man shop, so whenever I got to pull a rear end housing out of a car, it's sketchy at best. I usually use a tranny jack and some wood and some straps and try to get it to hold on, but I figured it's time to go ahead and get the right piece of machinery built. I see Chris Schultz is on. Hey Chris, how you doing? So I just dropped that video on that, and obviously the thumbnail had it on there. So that worked out real well. We'll go over a couple pictures on there and we'll talk about it a little bit. And I started doing the. Hey Rick, how you doing? I started doing the 9-inch rear end for the Cup car, but somehow I misplaced my shim kit, so I had to stop on that until I find my shim kit. It's here somewhere. I decided to go ahead and jump over and get on the Vettehawk differential. That's kind of one of the pieces I'm waiting on to get finished, so I can do a big job on that thing. So we've been working on that and go over some stuff there. I was saying earlier, Joe picked his car up. I don't know if we talked about if I showed you guys the core support shield that I made for his car. I don't remember if I had it done or not. So if anybody remembers from last week, I don't want to show it to you again if you've already seen it. So, the other thing I had said when obviously the microphone wasn't working was that I'm flying up to Ohio to move my youngest daughter to St. Louis. So I'll be out of the shop till Thursday next week. But we're going to go ahead and hopefully the Wi-Fi is on at her place, and we're going to try to do a live show from her new condo. If not, I'll do it on my phone. We'll figure something out. I'll make sure that you guys know what's going on before Tuesday. So let's go ahead and let me get to. Well, first we'll look at that tranny jack. Even though you may or may not have seen the video, but if you have, we just get to talk about it a little bit. And if we haven't, you'll know what to look for when you look for it. So, got to get the right page up here. Tech Tools. So, yeah, I didn't put these in order, but yeah, we'll go ahead and get this all straightened out. All right, see if that's better. Yeah, so anyway, sorry, I don't know why this thing's all freaked out. All the microphones were turned off, even though they show they were on. But anyway, so let me go back a couple slides here. Well, anyway, the original drawing I drew, I was saying how my buddy Rick is quite the draftsman. He's an engineer inspector, and I think that's your title now. Anyway, he made me up a drawing for narrowing rear end housings, and it came out really great. See if the volume, okay, the volume's still working now. So I kind of used his information and how he did it, and when I drafted my little designs there. So anyway, let me go back to the rear end fixture. So this was the fixture I came up with. I used 2x3 instead of 2x2, like I said in the video, and like I was talking about, there's a socket on there so you can run this shaft up and down to grab the pinion, so that way it keeps the rear end from flipping over or turning. Just a couple angle pictures of it. And then I made these little tabs back here so it's bolted to my transmission jack. So, yeah, Rick, that was. I still have it. I'm going to show it next week. Or not next week, in 2 weeks. I'll show it because I'll be out of town next week. But I'm going to show you. I still have that thing. I laminated it so it's still in pretty pristine condition. Yeah, so I just made this so it all bolts down to the transmission jack so the rear end becomes part of the jack. It would take quite a bit to flip it over, and it's got a safety chain, so you can safety chain it down. It makes it pretty robust. There's in the truck, you can see I got the saddles on the tube, and then just run this screw up until it supports the pinion, and that way, when you unbolt it out of the vehicle, the thing doesn't try to spin over and flip over and whatnot. Just gives you a good, strong, safe piece to get the differential out of the vehicle. And I put these at about 5 inches so you can see there's plenty of clearance under here. Now, of course, a 9-inch housing would be a little bit bigger, but I just want to make sure whatever the rear end would have on it, it would be clear. And there you can see, I moved it around the shop with the wheels still on the rear end. So that's probably 350, maybe 400 pounds of weight. And I've got a pretty decent tranny jack, but it rolls around real nice, and it feels very safe and very stout. So I'm real happy with that. Something I've been wanting to do for a long time because that can get sketchy pulling the rear ends out. Hey, Bill, how you doing? So just a couple more angles at it, and so it worked out real well. So if you want to catch any more detail on that, I just dropped that video. It should have dropped at 6 o'clock. So, but it came out real well, and it's something anybody could build. Kind of like our other tools that I showed a couple weeks ago when we were talking about homemade tools or stuff like that. Hey Ryan, how you doing? We were just all you missed. We were just talking about the rear end fixture that I dropped the video at 6 o'clock on. Thing works out really well. So, so the other thing I was going to start working on now is the rear differential for the Vettehawk. And let's go ahead. Go ahead and show you those pictures. Okay, it looks like the microphone's still working. I think we're good. So I was able. So the Vettehawk has got a Dana 44 Corvette rear end in it. Yeah, thanks, Ryan. So it's got a Dana 44 in it. Or it's going to have a Dana 44 because I want to keep the IRS. And they're kind of a weak link, especially for the drag race guys. But, I want to do kind of everything with this car. So I wanted something that was going to give us some substantial strength. So I was looking for a hammerhead IRS. Unfortunately, that designer passed away a couple of years ago, and his son's trying to keep the company moving. But I lost contact with him, and I haven't heard anything. And I found one of these rear ends on eBay. So there's a guy, Newman's Newman's Custom Cars, Paul Newman, and he was building, not the actor Paul Newman, but Paul Newman Custom Creations. So they were doing IRS conversions for like 55 through 7 Chevys and pickup trucks, and then of course Corvettes. So he had these car creations castings made, and luckily they've closed the shop probably about 10 years ago, but his son decided to go ahead and start cleaning the shop out, and they had about 10 of these units left. So I bought one. I'm very happy to have it. You can see it's got ARP studs for the main caps. And so here, this is the housing. Looking here, it's pretty robust looking, especially when you compare it to the stock one. Here's the stock one. It's got all these big cavities in the pinion area, and that's why I believe the pinion shaft on these snap off on the drag guys, because the pinion is trying to twist off the ring gear, and with all these holes in here, it's kind of hollow in there. It's kind of a weak spot, especially when you got the torque arm bolted to the other side. So these will break a lot, and I just wanted to build something that was going to be robust and not have to worry about that. So here's the passenger side of the car creation housing. It's got some nice strong ribs in the case. Of course, this is where the torque arm bolts to, or C channel. I guess it's not really a torque arm per se. And here's the OEM one, and not so big of gussets. And of course, this one is busted off. Now, the reason these housings bust off like this is the car got hit from the side. Either the car curbed one of the wheel, or got in an accident where somebody hit one of the wheels, and that twists the rear end and housing in the car. You can see there's an ear broke off here, so the bat wing was probably broken. I bought this off of eBay. But all the rear ends I've seen that this was broken off, every time state that the car was either curbed or was hit in an accident in the wheel, and that's what broke that section. When they break from horsepower and traction, they break the whole nose off. So here's the driver's side, and very little webbing on this side, and this is where they snap right through here from traction issues. When you make too much traction, the rear end will break. And then here's the car creation one, and you can see obviously that the way the casting curves around there, very solid through there, and it's got this big thick rib right here to help support the pinion head. All my research, they've sold a ton of these things, and nobody ever had mentioned one of these breaking, so pretty happy to see that. And there's the top view of the arm there. And again, this whole piece here is all solid. I don't know if I got a picture of that. Yeah, so on this one, I don't know if I did get a picture, but this whole underneath of this section here is all hollow. So there's a lot of, that's why these things will crack all through there, between the two bearings on the pinion, because the pinion is trying to leave the case. And on the Newman one, he's got it much stronger. Well, there's a picture of the cavity. So you can see there's no support behind that thing at all. And of course, this one is solid, so much stouter piece there. Really happy I was able to get one of these. There's the underside of the stock GM unit, and you can also kind of see there's nothing on the bottom of the case. It's just flat. There's no webbing, no shape to it. Every time you put a turn or an edge, you create more strength. And you see here, they got a solid tunnel for the pinion, and then all the flat, and then the curvature here, and then a drop down for more sump, for more oil capacity in the sump. So all these little nuances create a lot of strength in the casting. So, like I said, really happy to get one of those. And then I was also able to get one of their bat wings, and I didn't get a picture off the internet, but on the OEM ones, so this rib here is almost the same thickness as the stock one. It's upper and lower, but these trusses in between on the stock one are half the width and very thin. So this is a real robust bat wing. And the thing is, for torsional torque, this is what's going to take all the torque and apply it to the chassis. The front bar, the C-beam on the original Corvettes, that was mainly just to hold the pinion and the tail shaft of the transmission in alignment. Really not as much for torque application. There you can see how thick and solid these trusses on the batwing. Very stout piece, and real nice inside. I got the cap savers on there, all already built in. I got a little windage area for the vent. So one of the cool things about the Dana 44 HD for ICA, for independent Corvette axle, is the pinion shaft is much thicker, and it has a 29 spline on the pinion flange, where on a standard Dana 44 it's 28. Not that it's a big difference, but being it's at 29, it uses the same flange as a Dana 60. So I was able to get a, let me go back, I wasn't sure. So that's the new flange there, and it's a 1350 instead of a 1310. So that gives me a much bigger U-joint, so I can make a stronger dry shaft in the car. And the ring gear is 8.8 inches. So it's just, very similar to an 8.8 Ford or a 12-bolt Chevrolet. Very, very stout piece when you have the proper case. And this is the True Track track lock that I'm using, and it's actually out of a 99 Viper. So your 92 to 2002 Viper used the same Dana 44 HD. The newer ones are slightly different. They use a larger ring gear bolt, and I'm not sure about the spline. I couldn't get a verification, so I just went with what I know will work. So the Positrack will be a Dana 44 out of a Viper unit, RT10, and then on the American standard or U.S. standard ring and pinion, they got both bolt patterns. So this is the earlier pattern, this is the later pattern for the Viper, and this earlier pattern is the same as the Corvette. It uses a 7/16 bolt instead of a half inch, or not, rather, I'm sorry, 3/8 rather than a 7/16. And luckily, from the guys out at Kyle Newman, he was actually had a brand new set of output shafts, which these have been discontinued, so you can't even buy these new anymore. But I've got a fresh set for my car, so I'm real happy about that. And so yeah, it's just getting the case prepped on my fixture, getting ready to put it together, and it's just a video here. So that's pretty much where I'm building working on a video for that, so we can get updates on the Vettehawk, and that's pretty much it. So we'll try to get back over to Leo's in a couple weeks. I got the Kenmore tools coming, so I can remove the valve spring on the engine. Don't have to pull the engine apart. So we get that done. We'll get that clearance, get that thing up and running on the dyno. As I said earlier, Joe picked up his Camaro and dropped off. Yeah, they're really nice, and ARP studded too, so very nice. I'm real stoked I got that thing. But Joe dropped off his Corvette, so I'm getting work on that thing when I get back from being out of town. And hopefully we get a couple days of no rain, so I can get. So I got the shop's kind of crowded right now, so I have I had Joe's Camaro under the lift, and now I got Joe's Corvette under the lift, so I can't work on the T-type Buick T-type because it's on top of the lift. So hopefully when I get back in town, we'll have a couple nice days and I can get back on that. And anybody that's local that's watching in South Florida, February 2nd, which is not this coming weekend, but next weekend, in Miami, the NPW, the warehouse, performance warehouse I buy a lot of my product from, they have a mini PRI trade show down at the Miami Convention Center. So, Mike's on. No, Mike, you're right. He was saying if he's the only one that was thinking to email Cletus about the Moroso being back up for sale. And I'm going to get to that in a minute here. So, but yeah, a lot of people have mentioned it on the internet. I don't know if any on Facebook. I don't know if anybody's actually done it. But yeah, so they have this mini PRI show. It's going to be February 2nd, I believe. And I'm going to take the cup car down there and display it. So we're getting some stuff done on there. I'm going to try to get out to that SVRA race in February. I gotta remind myself tomorrow. I gotta contact them and get all that stuff, all the paperwork started on that. So that'll be fun. We'll get back and get the. No, I don't think I can write that big of a check, Mike. That thing would be bouncing like one of those Super Balls we had when we were kids. Yeah, so that'll be fun. So when I get back in town, I got to run the car down there for the get it parked in the convention center. And it was funny. I was on Facebook and I saw a picture on Alan Quickie tribute or fan page, and there was a actual shop photo, and I didn't even think that I should have got it so I could show you guys. But there was a shop photo taken in Quickie's shop in I believe the guy said it was January of '92, and there was actually 5 cars in the shop. So that's the first indication that I've seen that in that time era between 91 and 93, before Alan died in a plane crash, that he had more than a handful of cars. One of the things I've found on my car is that there's a lot of parts that you can unbolt from the car that are etched or stamped with the serial number 008. So I asked the guy that posted that picture what year the picture was taken from, and he said, and then I asked him, I said, would you know of any of the cars, and, ever heard of a car with a, in-house serial number 008? He replied, and I have not been able to do any testing, any more research on what he had told me yet. So I don't want to say. He had said the car was one that they nicknamed Underbird, and I haven't been able to do any verification or try to find any pictures of the car to see if that is something truthful or not. But it does another tidbit of trivia that car may have originally been a Thunderbird and owned by Alan Quickie. So that was the big reason why I switched gears on that car and decided not to tamper with it too far beyond just converting it to road race setup. But the chassis and everything is all still just the way it was. So do some more research on that, but that was a fun tidbit. And I don't know. I guess I need to get another mannequin, because now I have a full Phillips race team suit. I got a shirt, pants, with all the the actual crew shirt and pants, and then a windbreaker too. So maybe when I do the display and stuff, I should go ahead and. I was thinking when Doug and I had our parts house, we had a mannequin we called Bob, and we always kept a race suit, a Race Quip fire suit on him. And my buddy Pat, that used to own Race Quip, told me when he started out small, he's like, I always had a large race suit on a mannequin. That way, if I was at a race and the guy needed a suit and I didn't have anything in stock, or I sold my last one, I could always take it off the mannequin and sell another suit, fire suit. So we did the same thing, and it was pretty cool. People like to get pictures with the Bob with his fire suit and seatbelts and stuff on him. And so yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing, because I don't. The race suit, race uniform would probably fit me, but I'm not a big Bodine fan to start with, so it just didn't seem right for me to wear the stuff. But it'd be cool to put it on display with the car, so I'm gonna work on that. That'll be pretty cool. And okay, so I just kind of lost my train of thought for a minute. So let me pull up this other stuff, because Mike just brought it up. Got to find the slides. Hang on a second. Where is... There it is. So, this picture has been going all over Facebook, and Mike alluded to it. So the people that used to own IHRA and own this track and 4 other tracks, IRG, was a subsidiary of Six Management or Six something in New York. And what the IRG division was a sports entertainment enterprise, or whatever you want to call that. So supposedly they owned a couple, maybe some baseball team or basketball teams or something, probably amateur level. I don't think they owned anything pro. But then they decided to get into racing. And of course they had no clue what they were doing, and quickly ran everything into the ground. So what they had proposed, and what we were fighting about, we've talked about this on the show quite a few times, was with the purchase of this piece of property in these 2 little alcoves. This was ended up being 190 acres. The inside of the yellow line is 172 acres, which is the Palm Beach International Raceway property. Now they were going to put up 2 million square feet warehouses for like a Walmart or whatever online store. Well, obviously that since COVID died down, that whole thing is kind of gone away, and that's not as important anymore. But they had a price tag of about $80 million on this thing, and of course that was so far beyond what a value for a track operation. You would never recoup your money in a million years. So the IRG division of that main hedge fund company has gone into bankruptcy, and they relisted the property for sale again, but with a new price tag. Now it's asking $30 million. So now it's getting a little bit closer to a realistic number. I mean, it's still a very high number for a racetrack facility. However, it is in Palm Beach County. There is no tracks south of Orlando, and there's millions of people down here. So a track that's run properly could make a lot of money. And back in the day of Moroso, this used to be a very lucrative track. And back then, the road course and the drag strip were connected, so you couldn't have 2 events at the same time. When SCCA or motorcycle road racing was happening in the old Moroso days, the drag racers couldn't get into the track till the other groups were done racing and packed up. So in 2010, I think they did this redo of the track, and they separated the 2. It did kind of put a problem in the area of grandstands on both sides of the drag strip, but that's not the worst thing that could have happened. Here's another picture. Let me zoom in here. So this is a office complex building here. There's an old gas station here. This was I think that was the east entrance. This is the west entrance, the main entrance. You can see now that the road course is completely divided. And I would think there is some room over here to put some grandstands. And then this is the go-kart track, which we were using for a autocross track. And this is a skid pad where that whole lot can be flooded for doing skid testing and stuff like that. So pretty good, a pretty good way of a room for doing things. Oh, and over here is a mud pit where they'd run mud drags. So the facility's got enough things now, and everything's set up to where you could run drag racing, road racing, and autocross and mud bog all at the same time. So obviously, the more events you have going on, the more money the potential owners could make. And the other, my gut theory is that if somebody were to buy or to go into a rental or lease arrangement with Palm Beach County at the 20 Mile Bend site, where we had thought that might be our next best shot, because this property, $80 million, there was no way it was ever going to happen. That facility has a couple main hurdles. One is there's muck on the land right now, and nobody knows how deep the muck is. And the second thing is there's a housing development fairly close to the racetrack site. So more than likely there would be really early curfews and stuff like that. So that would be stuff that would not bode well for us as far as the racetrack goes. So talking with, I was out in Dallas last year and at a grudge race, and that track there was complete concrete racetrack, just like PBIR is, and it was a fairly new track. If you type in XRP Raceway on the internet, you'll see a lot of really cool pictures. They got a little timing tower, then they got like a crosswalk over top of the burnout box, and they've got corporate suites above there. They all have TVs in all the suites. You go to the concession stand. There's TVs there. There's TVs under the crosswalk, and they're showing the video. The TV system is showing live track action. So no matter where you're at on the property, you can still see the cars going down the quarter mile. So very well thought out facility, and we were told that facility was built for like $15 million. So my thinking is, if somebody was going to enter the 20 Mile Bend deal, they needed to be ready to spend $20 to $30 million to build that facility, because they don't know how much muck is going to have to be removed, and then they're going to have to refill that to get the track above land. And then of course you've got all the construction time. So by time from when you break ground to where you'll be ready to open a gate, it would probably be about 5 years. So that's a lot of time that you're not making money on that $25 to $30 million. So that brings us back to the new operation of the possibility of Palm Beach being purchased and reopened. Because even though the grandstands are gone and the scoreboards are gone, all the I think it's called Masco lighting is still there, and that's the same lighting that they use at like Charlotte NASCAR track. When the lighting is on at that track, it's daytime. There's no real shadowy spots, maybe in the pits, but the racing surface, whether the drag racing or the most of the road course, it looks like daytime there. So, that place, all the pavements there, the whole length of the drag strip is all concrete. So I mean, sure, you're gonna have to do some weed eating and stuff like that because Mother Nature's trying to overtake the property, but it's only been 2.5 years. I feel that somebody could spend the money to buy this facility and for very minimal money have it up and running, maybe not with grandstands and all the luxury stuff, but you could get it and start producing a profit very quickly. And then, that would help out with return on investment, so you can get a good return on your money. And you can see from this image, this is a satellite. This is Pratt Whitney, and this is a Pratt Whitney test airstrip. And I think that's 4 miles long. 3 miles or 4 miles long, I forgot. But here's the racetrack, and there's a full quarter mile plus. Oh, maybe this is only 2 miles long, but nevertheless, there's nothing around here, and all this property around the track and all this property over here is all protected wetlands. That is written in Palm Beach County statutes and backed by Tallahassee that land can never be built on. This was built way before any of that was even thought about, so it's grandfathered in. Now, there is a couple little parcels right along the road here on Beeline where you can build. There's a little gas refinery place and stuff like that. But as far as developments of any kind, can't happen. Now, this is a Park of Commerce, which was also okayed years ago and just now is starting to get filled in. So, again, this is the prime location to have a racing motorsport facility. And some of the things, everybody's throwing stuff around on Facebook. I pitched in. There's a lot of country club racetracks being opened up. Most of them are road course tracks, and most of them are completely private. But this idea may help out somebody that wants to buy the place in the future, is that maybe they could come up with like a membership deal where people would pay, say, $5,000 or maybe, I don't know what kind of money, but maybe $2,500 a year or something like that, and then you would be like a country club member of the facility. You could get discount rates, there'd be all kinds of little fringe benefits they could get where you could use the property during events at a discounted rate for your return on your money. That would give the property owner a little startup capital, and it could be helpful for everybody and all around. So and of course there is room on this property to do what they were originally talking about. So originally, this let me go back to another slide here. So originally, it was thought about buying this piece of property here because it's been for sale forever. I don't know about this piece here, parcel here, but at one time when they built this track like this, the idea was they were going to do like a condo area here with retail stores, and then like garage condo suites, so you could keep your race car there and have like a man cave and different things like that. Obviously, there's room down here. They could put, somebody said, a restaurant and gas station, maybe do like a Buc-ee's or a racetrack or something like that, racetrack fuels service, where you could get return on your money. You'd have a gas station that would have some food items at it that the racers could go to, and you'd be getting rent from that company back on the property. So you're getting income and fulfilling a need. Or you could go ahead and build this whole area with rental garages and stuff. There's a lot of different things that could be done to add more income. In those metal storage buildings, those things go up cheap. Where you could have like a 10 by 30 bunch of 10 by 30 bays there where people could rent them and store their race car and have their own little race shop there, or you could get a chassis guy to come out and maybe open up 2 or 3 of them and have a race shop right on the premises that at big events could provide services and parts and stuff like that. So there's a multitude of things that could happen on this property that would aid in profitability. So we just got to find the right guy. A lot of people have been talking to a lot of people, and hopefully we can do something. I know Madeline Marconi, who's been kind of like the racer spokesperson for all this county commissioner meetings and stuff like that. She has been in contact with some potential people for the 20-mile bend deal. So I'm kind of hoping, maybe she's pitching them on this now, and maybe they're trying to put the information together to make this work. So only time will tell. I know I probably shouldn't. I might get John in trouble, but her father, Madeline's father, John, I seen him at the Cool Wheel show, and he said, keep the faith, keep praying, keep the conversation up about the racetrack in Palm Beach County. He said good things are about to happen. So maybe he's got some insider news that we don't have yet. So who knows? But very interesting to see that that now the track, that the real estate price on the track has come to a more affordable price. I know a couple years ago before COVID, there was, well, I don't know, but it rumored that RJS Safety had offered $35 million to buy the facility back then. And I know that the Danny Sullivan group were looking into it. Now, I know they have moved on to a different project now, so they're gone. But so the main point is that this asking price of $30 million doesn't mean they'll take, maybe they'll take less, but it's in the ballpark now to where this may happen. So fingers crossed for everybody in Florida, we can get this thing going on. So that's a lot of what we had going on this week. I don't know why when I ran into that valve spring problem on Leo's car. I don't know why I didn't get any pictures. I was so shocked that we had that issue still, and really didn't get to it. I just he had a small list of things he wanted done. I put a new switch in his switch panel. We were working with the bump box. He's not using the Holly as a bump box. He's got a separate deal, which didn't seem to be working. So, unfortunately, the trans brake solenoid is in the valve body, so it's inside the pan, so you can't really hear it operating. And the bump box has got a relay in it, and it clicks loud, so it overruns everything. So but at his house with tools and stuff there, I was able to put a test light on the wire going to the trans brake, and I could actually activate the bump box and see it working, and adjusted it to the slowest speed and longest a medium speed duration, so I could actually see the bulb going on, off, and see if that fixes the issue with the bump box. Otherwise, the next step is it's going to probably have a valve stuck in the valve body. Maybe the trans brake solenoid is releasing, but the valve is sticky in there. That happens a lot on trans brakes. So the thing that Leo and I talked about is when the next step is to go to the dyno, because as soon as we get the car up and running, we can go straight to the dyno and don't have to wait till the next track rental situation. But at that point, we'll try the bump box with the trans brake with the engine running and see if we can get that working. And if it doesn't, then we know we can pull the valve body down, so that hopefully by the time we do go to the track for the next test session, we have it all ironed out and figured out. So we'll see how that all goes. just get my youngest daughter moved here this week, and then get back in the shop. And I got a couple weeks to bang out a bunch of stuff on the Cup car, and like I said, I want to get some more updates on the Vettehawk, get that thing back in the shop. So a lot of stuff going on, but we're trying to push through and get her done. So, like I was saying earlier, I don't remember if the microphone was working when I was saying it, so bear with me. I will be in St. Louis next Tuesday. My daughter's apartment is supposed to have Wi-Fi already running there, so if it does, it'll be no problem for a live show. And I'll have some downtime, so I'll try to put something really interesting together for a Tech Tuesday. If not, I will definitely put something up so that everybody knows what's going on, for sure. And I'm going to try to. I got a couple more videos that I need to finish editing, so maybe if I get a little downtime up there, I'll try to get a couple more videos out. I can't believe it's been 6-8 weeks since the last video I put out, so I got that rear end fixture video out, and I think that's a cool piece. It's something I've always wanted to build, and now that it's done, my ideas seem to have worked as I thought, and I've got a really safe tool for pulling out a heavy component out of the cars or trucks that's always been troublesome and sketchy. Luckily, I've never dropped one, but there's been times where it was close. So I'm happy to get that done. So if you guys haven't seen it, check that out. I really appreciate that. And again, smash the like button. Get your friends to come check us out on the Tuesday Night Lives. Hopefully, I talked to Nick earlier last week, and he said he's just about got the second batch of shirts done. Obviously, this time I ordered a bunch more. So as soon as we get those out, I'll send a couple out that I owe, and then we'll get the store open and you guys will be able to go online and get those. And then we'll slowly move on to other stuff. I want to get some different size decal strips, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. And I got a bunch of designs that I want to make. Right now, we're just going to work on the main YouTube logo shirt, but then we'll get some other stuff going as we get some more time. And I'm seeing that I'm going to have to go ahead and get some inventory put in, because my buddy Nick is a service writer at a Nissan dealer, and they're working him pretty hard. So his time for printing on order is maybe not going to work as well as I thought. So we'll definitely have to get some in there. Oh, and Bill says watch Sick Week next week. Yeah, for sure. And Bill, I hope I didn't step on your guys' toes with my comments to the guys on. I don't know who I was talking to on Sick Week, but we were talking about the NHRA versus IHRA certification and stickers. I don't think that those guys had anything to do with it. Race starts Tuesday through Thursday, Saturday. And I saw they were talking about classes C and D. I know you're an A class, but CD classes can run on the practice day and get ahead of everybody on the turning in tickets. That'll work out real well. But yeah, I kind of, not all. It's all good. Yeah. I didn't like the guy's answer, and obviously finally the NHRA tech guy got on there, and sure enough, he's before travel time. Their stickers are $205, where the IHRAs are $135. And we all go off the same SFI certification, the same SFI book, the same testers, and we all have to take the same SFI test. So that's what my big beef is, that NHRA is, and a lot of people have the same feeling. It's just not me, but a lot of people feel that NHRA is just looking for a big money grab. All they really care about is the pro racers and the sportsman racers. They really don't give much care to. And, charge everything. I mean, the local guy down here, Rick Shrek, he's from Port St. Lucie, so by the time he drives to Broward or Dade or even southern Palm Beach County, you're going to be paying very close to $300 for a chassis cert. And it just, to me, it seems funny that they're gonna well, the one guy's response was, "Oh, it's an NHRA event," and I do not believe that Sick Week has got anything to do with NHRA except for they're renting NHRA tracks. So I think that's a crock, but whatever. I'll get off my my soapbox, and it is what it is. So Mike says I'm going to go up to Georgia this weekend for the practice so I can try and meet some other YouTube personalities and see some racing. Yeah, you'll have to stop by and see Bill. Bill and Dawn will have their 33 black coupe with the small block blower. So let me see. I've probably got a picture here. I know I got a picture here. I just got to quickly find it. But yeah, Mike, you have to go by and check Dawn and Bill's car out. It's really cool. There's some video on the channel. I did wheelie bars on it, and we've done a bunch of tuning. I've been helping Bill out with tuning on the car and stuff like that. So so this is Bill's car. So he's got Sick Week on the hood, on the roof, and you'll have to go check him out. Yeah, I saw. Yes, Bill, I saw they're doing testing on Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday also for CD class. So, they're right. Mondays are always the worst day, or Tuesday, the first day of drag week or Sick Week, is always the busiest day because all the cars are running. Some of the cars that aren't prepped properly are going to break down. It's going to tie the track up. You got tech going on, so it kind of makes it tough. So I like what they're doing by trying to spread some of this out a little bit, so the first day isn't as chaotic and everybody gets a good chance to get their cars down the track. So so we'll see how that all works out. I'm interested to see. Hopefully it all works out. Hey, who knows? Maybe we'll get if we can get the Palm Beach track back, they can work PBIR into the Sick Week deal instead of having to go to 2 tracks in the same week. So, but it'll be fun. Bill and Dawn, you guys stay safe during the event, and as usual, if you want to shoot me any data logs, I'll have my computer with me. So we'll see. We're going to be driving on Sunday to St. Louis. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll be in St. Louis, and we won't be, we'll be getting my daughter straightened out. So, that first day drive, 342 miles from South Georgia to Bradenton. That's going to be a long haul. So, but if you need anything, shoot me some text and some data, and I'll go through that stuff. I'll have my laptop with me, so that'll all be good. And hope you guys can lay down some big numbers this year. I think we got some of the issues straightened out on the car, so hopefully you'll do good. But so I think with that, we're going to go ahead and pull the plug on tonight. As I was saying earlier, do all the fun stuff. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Ring the bell if you want to get instant notifications when I drop videos. Hit the share button and send copies to your friends if you want to show them one of them, any of that stuff, and we'll go from there. We'll get everything going for next week, and then the following week we'll be back in the shop. So I think we'll go ahead and say goodnight. So everybody be good. Everybody safe week. Have a good time, and we'll see you all next week. Let me cue the music, and we'll get everything going again. So y'all have a good week, and talk to y'all next week. See ya.